Welcome to Natural Powers. Today I have a past life story for you guys. Today's story just happened in April on my birthday and during the full moon. It was amazing. So I had to put this together and tell you guys about it. This is actually about my friend Phoenix's past life. And it started with calling her to North Carolina, which she thought was funny because she's been to 23 of the states out east except for the Carolinas, so it's very specific. She started getting synchronicities. She started meeting people not only from North Carolina, but from a small town called Wilmington. And then the synchronicities of North Carolina license plates just snowballed until her other soul sister was like, all right, let's go. So she messaged me the day before my birthday saying, she's in North Carolina, she's on the beach, it's beautiful, and calls me to let me know about these synchronicities. She just bought a white Jeep, and as soon as she got there, saw like 17 Jeeps on the way to her hotel. And that's just this tiny part of this story. She actually was asleep on the plane ride over there, and when she woke up and looked out the window, the very first thing she saw was a cemetery. And then the pilot announces, you can turn your airplane mode off on your phone. And when she does, there is a gray dot on the same cemetery that she was just looking at out the window. So she actually drove to the cemetery the day before, but it was closed. So she called me on my birthday and let me know that she had actually done a past life regression just before this and a supermoon release. And during this past life regression, she saw herself as a 20-something girl on the beach with her blonde hair blowing in the wind, and she hears that this was the calm before the storm in this particular past life. She also hears somebody say that it was 1911 and that her name was Elizabeth Caldwell. And then this vision ends with her having a painful burning sensation. At this point, we didn't know what it was, maybe like an ectopic pregnancy or a miscarriage. We thought she might have even died in her 20s in this life, and that was all we had to go on. So she messaged me that morning of my birthday saying she's going back to the cemetery. Can you help me find myself? She gives me all the information that I just told you, and that the Oakdale Cemetery was the GPS ping that she got on her phone. And I was like just blown away. And she asked if I can help her find herself or her grave. And I'm like, sure, I think I'm going to be doing some actual research, which is funny because I remember going to the library with my mom as a kid and actually doing this kind of research, looking through slides. Like, it was very cool, and I thought that was mostly what I was going to be able to offer at this point. And she was like, no, you've connected with people that have passed away before, right? And I have a few times. So I actually tried to force it the first time. I tried to go meditate in my room, but once I kind of got out of my head, got up, got busy, and my hands were busy, it was very easy to hear that this song, Gravity by John Mayer, just kept playing in my head, and I knew it didn't have anything to do with me. It's not something that I would typically listen to. So I sent that to her, and it's funny because it keeps repeating at the end, just keep me in the light. And I have the feeling that her higher self wanted her to know how loved she was in this past life, and that she still is now. It really had a current lesson sewn into it, along with a lesson about self-doubt for myself. So I start looking her up after I sent her this gravity song. And I start looking up the cemetery. She had tried to go the day before, but it was closed. And then I had literally just finished my birthday lunch with my in-laws when she was like, alright, I'm on my way to the cemetery. Help me find myself. So, I hadn't told her, but I had kept seeing this, like, arch-top grave by a tree, and the sun was shining, and the tree was blowing in the wind, and I was like, kind of just brushed it off, like, it's just because we've been looking for this. And so I start sending her some maps. I actually found Elizabeth Caldwell through her husband. Her name was not on the list of people in the cemetery. So I found these two grave plots and I sent it to her. And she was walking around. I did not know this cemetery is very huge. It has a lot of sections. It's very old, and she's there looking around. She's about to give up, actually, and she asked somebody for help. And they point her back to the section that I told her I found that name in. Well, it was, like I said, her husband's name. So she turns around the direction he's pointing her in, and there's actually a white line going all the way back to section E. And so she gets back there, and she finds herself right next to her husband, where I said she would be. And it's funny because these two graves that she first sends me are these flat ones you see here, these flat headstones. And I had kept seeing that tall curved headstone very clearly. So, then I really did think it didn't have anything to do with what was going on. And come to find out, her daughter's headstone is right behind her, and it is this curved-topped gravestone with not only her married name, but her maiden name on it. And this was her child, but it had both these names on it, and it looked like the one that I saw. She actually sends me this video afterwards, and this is like 20 feet from her gravestone. And I was just blown away. I really had doubted myself, and I was just blown away. This was exactly what I saw in my mind. Come to find out, she had took this beautiful picture that happened to include all three gravestones. And can you guys see this bubble? This huge bubble over these headstones. I mean, this is just... I watch a lot of paranormal stuff. I thought this is just amazing. So we didn't know what it was, but it was huge, and she wanted to know what it was. So she ended up doing some automatic writing, and I'm going to read to you exactly what she wrote down about this picture. The bubble was a visual representation of how incredibly powerful you are. You wrapped your energetic arms around all that was once yours. powerful indeed. And we were just blown away at this point. We both just felt this amazing energy for the whole next day, even. And the next morning, she sent me this saying, now even her oatmeal is in alignment. And, the energy isn't always this easy. It isn't always this high every day. It doesn't always feel like the energy's in our favor, but our frequency is something that we have to work at and want to maintain. And that is something really big that I took away from this and wanted to share with you guys. I'll have more stories and science behind these stories coming very soon.